Hi everyone, this is Amy from Ketolicious Life, and I'm going to tell you why I chose to start a YouTube channel. Stay tuned. For years I have struggled with my weight. I've been on every diet you can imagine out there. I have tried everything, to calorie restriction, to diet shakes, to Jenny Craig, you name it. I have tried it all. Back in my early 20s, I started to notice I'd gain 10 pounds and then I'd lose it. It was just an up and down thing, and I wasn't necessarily eating incorrectly. It was just my body. So fast forward a few years later, I got married. I got pregnant with my first baby. That was over 19 years ago now. So right after I had my first baby girl, I started just noticing that I was feeling really, really sick. Like, I was breastfeeding and the baby was healthy and everything was going fine and normal, except that I felt super, super tired and weak. And I remember one of the biggest signs that I had was it was really hard just to even open and close my hands. Like, I was that weak that even to do that took a lot of effort. So I made an appointment with my doctor and said, I'm just not feeling right. And they said, yeah, that's normal. You just had a baby and your hormones are still getting back into, the way they should be. But come on in and we'll just, do a checkup and make sure everything is okay. So went in for my checkup. The doctor checked all my vitals. We chit-chatted for a little while. And then he recommended that I do some blood work just to test, just my overall blood levels, for cholesterol and for iron, for anemia. And he also had put on there to check for thyroid. So I went and got the blood test all done. And he literally called me that night and said, you have a severe thyroid problem. And it was funny because when I was in his office, he even said, it's just normal. You're a new mom and, this is kind of par for the course, and this is normal. But he did those blood tests just as a precautionary, and lo and behold, something really ugly showed up. So he told me that I immediately needed to go to the pharmacy and get my prescription for Synthroid and immediately take it. And I didn't know anything about thyroid at that time, so I just said, well, it's a little late, can I wait till tomorrow and go get it tomorrow? He goes, you're very dangerously low and you need to get on it immediately, ASAP. So that sort of scared me, and then I started to do some research, and back at that time, there wasn't as much internet resources as there is now. So from what little information I could find, I said, yeah, these are all the symptoms I have. Wow. And I also, right after I had my baby, I immediately put on like 40 pounds within the first 2 or 3 months, maybe even less than 3 months, but it was like super fast. And when you're breastfeeding, you're supposed to lose weight, but instead I gained weight and I felt horrible. So those were the signs and the symptoms I had right off the bat. I got on the Synthroid, and fast forward, probably not until about 10 years ago, I was on Synthroid that whole time, and I'm 45. So for about 10 or 15 years, I took the Synthroid, and my weight just continued to go up and down and up and down, and I just gradually kept adding on the weight. Sometimes I would be able to get the weight to come off, but it just I never felt the same. I've never felt the same. I've never felt like I had energy. I could never wake up in the morning feeling refreshed, ever. So that was, something I struggled with all that time. And then I had my second baby. He is 15, so I had him 15 years ago. And during my pregnancy with him, I ended up with a severe blood clot in my left artery of my left leg. So it's called a DVT, deep vein thrombosis. So while I was pregnant with him, I had to be in the hospital on heparin drip. And then after I was released from the hospital, I had to give myself heparin injections for the entire remainder of my pregnancy with him. So I went ahead, I had the baby, he was healthy, but I had to continue the heparin injections for about 6 months after he was born. So I went through all of that. During that time, I also stayed on Synthroid. So fast forwarding again, about 9 years ago, I had my third baby. Her name is Ava, and she likes to make appearances in the videos. My son doesn't, so you probably won't see much of him. But my third baby, Ava, while I was pregnant with her, I wasn't as sick as I was with my son. So she was born, everything was great. And then about 2 years ago, another DVD popped up. I was fine. I was exercising. I was active. I felt somewhat normal. I, had also shifted over from Synthroid to Nature-Throid, which is a desiccated thyroid. So it contains both T3, T4, and I believe 1 and 2. So it contains all of the hormones that a thyroid would naturally produce, whereas Synthroid is synthetic and it only contains T4. So that's the big difference. So when I converted over to the desiccated thyroid, immediately I felt better. Like within a week of taking it, I started feeling better. So I knew there was something going on in my body that was not allowing me to process that T4. So I took all of that medication. I took the desiccated and had a little bit of better results. I did still continue to yo-yo in the weight up and down. I'd lose 10, maybe 15 pounds, and then I'd gain 20. And it just seemed as though, even though I felt a little bit better, I just wasn't able to lose the weight. So fast forwarding to October of this year, I decided to take the plunge and go hard on this ketogenic diet. I've read up a lot about it. I know that for many people with Hashimoto's or thyroid conditions, that the ketogenic diet is one of the best diets out there, aside from going paleo or just, gluten-free type of thing. Because when you have Hashimoto's or even just thyroid conditions, your body can be in a state of inflammation. And some of the foods that you eat can cause inflammation. And that can just halt the body, the weight loss. It just halts it dead in its tracks. So instead of losing, you tend to gain. So I started on October 23rd, and today is January the 23rd, which is exactly 3 months later. And I have lost 20 plus pounds. I don't know the exact number because I just weighed in today and I haven't done the math yet. So I have lost over 20 pounds in just 3 months doing the ketogenic diet, and I feel amazing. I have never felt better ever in my last 30 years of my life. I just remember once I was diagnosed with hypothyroid disease, and then later on it sort of turned into Hashimoto's, which is just a form of thyroid condition, an autoimmune disease where you can tend to have flare-ups. Your body can become inflamed, and my goal has been to keep those flare-ups under control, and one of the ways to do that is to reduce your sugar intake, your carbs, your breads, your flours, anything like that can cause inflammation. So I attribute the way I feel 100% to the keto diet. There's just no question, there's no denying that this diet is a wonderful diet for anyone with a thyroid condition or an autoimmune condition. I urge you, if you struggle with thyroid issues and weight gain, check out this diet and give it a real, true, and solid trial. Stick to it for at least 3 months, like I did. That was my promise I made, that I was going to stick to it for 3 months. And if I wasn't seeing the results at 3 months, then I would possibly have to go even stricter and go paleo. So here we are, 3 months, I made it. I've lost 20 plus pounds, and yeah, so it definitely works. It's a diet that anyone can use if you have diabetes, if you have thyroid conditions, if you're sensitive to gluten, if you know that when you eat sugar you feel really crappy afterwards and tired and sluggish. This is the diet for you. You will regain your energy, you will feel better, you will get rid of all the brain fog, and you're going to lose weight. So it's definitely an A+ in my book. So yeah, I just want to thank all of you for watching my journey, and all your support, all your comments mean so much. That is what helps keep me pushing for another day. And I know that maybe if you're watching my journey, you too can also be inspired for your own journey. So I want to thank all my new subscribers, all my already subscribers that have already been supporting me. Some of you reached out to me and made me feel so welcome in the keto community. And for that, I'm so grateful, because I typically don't step out of my shell to, talk to people, but I've really taken a plunge in this, and it's been hard at times, but every time I've done it, it's been rewarding, and you've all been great, just very welcoming and encouraging, and so I thank you so much, and we'll just keto on together. All right, thanks so much for watching, and everybody have a great week. We'll see you soon. I can't even think.
Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't